Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Fallout 4, and in today's episode I thought we'd get ourselves out of Sanctuary, go down the road a little bit to Starlight, and I am going to convert this square box into this. Wow! Today I'm going to share some tips on how I make my my structures and my buildings look a little bit more believable within the Fallout universe. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's do it! So I decided to record this in a very specific manner, and this is just basically, I started with a basic structure, a square box, and I just started adding things to it, and I just saw where the journey would take me, and I done that deliberately because that's how I build, that's how most of us build, and I think you probably will have more affinity towards it if you see that it's just you take the journey and see what happens. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. I hope it's going to be useful for sharing the kind of ideas that pop into my head as I do a build, and you know, I do kind of go in some different directions with this, but the final result I was really happy with. So here's something I encourage you to do before you even start building. Depending on where you're building, go and have a walk around in the immediate area and just pay attention to all the different elements that the designers of the game have used, the different wall textures, the different types of walls and roofs, and any items that are around, like shelves, barrels, whatever it might be. Are they using metal? Are they using wood? What are they using? Just have a good look around your environment, because what it does is, if you follow these steps, you will start to blend naturally your new structure into your surroundings by using some of the materials that the developers have used when they've built the game. Now, pay attention when I'm building, and especially with the tour, some of the items that you're actually seeing in my walkthrough here, you will see incorporated into this build. So today we're going to take this box and we're going to play around and see what we can come up with as far as design elements go. When you first start building in Fallout, this is sort of what I've seen people do. Now, one of the things that I would say is repeating patterns. Try and avoid repeating patterns as much as possible. So hence why I've got all these different walls like this on the building. Now, one way to very quickly make it look a little bit different is by putting a certain type of roof on it, and so we'll try that now. I'm going to get these big blocky ones like this. Make sure that it's pointing like that, and there you go. Straight away we're off and running. We kind of given it a little bit of character. Now, pull this wall off, and I'm going to go into these ones here, and I'm going to select this one, and oh, look at that, we've got a window on it. So maybe we don't need that door anymore. So we'll put this over here for now. Rid of that door completely. Do this, chuck that on, bang, okay. And what we might do here is we're going to put a single floor on here, like that. There we go. We're going to put some supports in. Now you might have to do what I'm doing here just to get the bottom one to take. You might not. This support's being a knob. Sometimes this happens in Fallout. You just gotta persist with it. There you go. Looking down helps sometimes it doesn't. And as if by magic, the pillars are in there. Yeah, that just took a little bit of finagling. Fallout can be like that. It can be a little bit tetchy depending on what day you're building. And of course, because I'm recording, it is being awkward. And again, don't repeating patterns. And straight away, that's got a little bit more character than your box. A little bit, not much, but a little bit. So you can come in through here, and suddenly we're into the thing. You get one of those walls that fits in there that blocks it up, and she's good to go. We can find one. There it is. Here we go. And straight away you can see we haven't done much to this build, but suddenly it's looking a little bit more fancy. Now you could, of course, put a door in here if you really wanted to. I'll try and keep this as vanilla as possible, but I do like these little single doors because they give the option of where you want to put them. So we might put it there, like that. Get a single wall, put it in there, like. We'll try and put it in there. Come on, like that, and there you go. You've suddenly got a scrappy build. We're getting there. We're starting to see some light. Look at this. So for those of you who are like me, they've got kind of OCD and like put the other side of the roof in VG4, well, I'm going to put the other side of the roof in now if it's going to let me. Okay, here we go. Let's put a door on that. Nothing wants to snap today, but I don't know why. Doesn't want to. There we go, that'll do. There we go, straight away we've got quite a nice little building happening. But you see it's a little bit flat around the rest of the building. The front's fine. The rest of the building's a little bit flat. So how do we fix that? Well, what you could potentially think of doing is what I'm about to do here, which is to do this and put a little bit of a veranda around it, like that. That potentially will give it some character, like this. Of course, you can use these kind of other wall pieces, and you can pull, like I've done at the front. You can pull them out like that. Okay, that's fine. So we've got a veranda going around. You could use some of these pieces like that and put them on other walls, I guess. These kind of outer wall structures. So just to show you how that would work, just do this. Take this away for now. We add that like that. There you go. And we'll fill it in with the end caps. And you know, you could potentially, what you could do is then pull, if you wanted to continue this kind of veranda feel, you could do this and just build around it like that. There you go. And potentially that's a little workshop area there. See, I'm already way ahead. But again, we're starting to play around with some thoughts and some ideas and see where it takes us. And that's the beauty of building in Fallout. You never know quite where it's going to take you. But now the problem you have is, how do you get out here? This is a little isolated area. You're going to have to run around all the way around from here. G4. Geez, what we're going to do. So again, maybe put a single door in there. Like this. I mean, you don't have to put a doorway in there either. You can see there is just a way to get out. So you could leave it like that. Or you could do what I'm doing, like this. And then you can get out into this area and you can isolate it and do whatever you like. So lots and lots of different options for you. This is all vanilla. It's all vanilla. It's not that I'm not using anything that's overly modded or vary the rails up a little bit just to give it a little bit of a difference. I'll have to go and get some more wood in a second while it looks at it. And suddenly look, you're starting to get a dimension around the place, which is a lot more interesting than a square box. So now what we're going to do is we're going to keep going with this idea and see where it can take us a little bit further. So don't be, don't settle for just stopping here. You can if you want. Up to you. We can do this kind of stuff and start to put a veranda around a veranda roof, which I do a lot more builds. We'll put a couple of posts in here now. I'm going to change up the posts I'm using. Put them in there. Flop. And again, we've changed the look of the whole thing once more. It's starting to look much more convincing. Now, one of the things you can start to do is then start to add items in. Now you can see where we are. You can see where we are. We're at Starlight. So why wouldn't we add a car right to the front of there? Now you can pillar glitch it. So I'm going to use place anywhere for now, but you can pillar glitch it if you like. I'll add that in. It's starting to all sell the story. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a generator in here. Maybe a big one. It'll fit in there, won't it? Yep, there we go. And maybe that's what that part of the deck's for. It's for that, specifically for that generator. So now we don't really need that door as such, so we can just put another wall in. Now, one of the things that I do like to do with some of this is to vary up the types of wall pieces I'm putting in. So you can see we had the kind of vertical ones. Let's see if we can find a horizontal piece. And it'll be in here somewhere. There we go. There we go. And then vary up the horizontal pieces you're adding. So add 2. There we go. A little bit more of a unique wall. If you don't want a window there, you put one of these on there and it'll get board it up. And now we're getting into modded territory a bit now, or you can put these wall boards on here, like that. And that's adding a little bit more dimension again to your build. And it's scrapping it up. And you can see, I'll take you over to this one here. I've used all these items in front of this build here to make it look a little bit different. But there are items that are from the surrounding area. There's a fence. There's a trash can. There's another car. All things that are kind of industrial and fit in with the area. And so, I highly encourage you just to keep doing this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, you're going to start to see that this thing is really going to take shape. And it's really going to start to come to life and have some character. And there are so many different directions you can go in to make this work for you. And you can start adding signs in, you can start adding all kinds of stuff in to the walls to give you texture. And I highly encourage you to do that, is add all kinds of things in here. Now I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what I mean by adding a little bit of texture, or things that you might not necessarily think of that could give you texture. So I'm going to go to the fences, we're going to go to these chain link fences, and I'm going to pick this like this, and I am going to stick this here like that, and suddenly that's changed the overall look and texture of that. You can do it with breeze blocks like this. These walls, it will give you a little bit more depth. So we'll put a wall, one of these breeze block walls here. This can be a little bit tricky to get into place, but again, that's just breaking up a straight line, and it's adding texture to your build and adding a depth to your build. And so experiment around with a lot of these things. Now, one of the things that I have done for a while, so we'll get rid of this for a while so I can show you, is that I've used these junk fences, but I've used them in a slightly different way now. So you want the junk fence without the tire sticking out. See these ones with the tires? You want one that's got a little bit more of a flat face on it. Just put it down, there we go. Turn it around. Push it up like this. You may have to pillar glitch it like that. But now these look like they're supporting the wall. I'll show you when we get off to the side. That looks like it's holding up the structure, so that's another way of doing it. Now you can see with the repeating textures there, it's not overly convincing. So if you're getting repeating textures, look for another wall and just add it in to break it up a little bit. I'm still not a fan of that because it's got that fence, so just experiment with this kind of stuff. You might have these taller walls that will be able to do that, whatever. But here we go, we're starting to come up with some viable options for your build. And so just keep adding layers and layers and layers to your build. Of course you could use that round the front if you wanted. Just put that over there for now. Sink these into the ground and use them that way. There are no rules here, people. That's the point. That's the whole point of building in Fallout. There are no rules. You can break the rules. There you go. You can start to do this kind of stuff where you've only got certain things sticking out the wall, and you're adding, again, like a layer on a layer. So we've got a fence, and we've got an end wall, and then we've got some kind of some railings. And I used to do this a lot just to hide the floating, the fact that the building was floating. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you to the final build now, and I'll talk you through all the different elements that I've added just to make this look not like a box, but the box is actually still there. Magic G4. So here we go, here is the final tour, and as you can see, Dogmeat is loving it, and yeah, I've added a few extra things from the finishing point, but you can see what I was talking about earlier about adding elements that are lying around your environment into the build. So obviously there's a lot of cars around, and so I've added a car in front, but I've also added these signs to link that all in and look and kind of pull it together. There are some of the barrels that we've seen before around the place. That's also probably a gas bowser or something from, so that all works. And so yeah, you can see just adding those different elements. You can see there's lots of these chain link fences, and I've added another fence in front of the chain link fence that you've seen me put in like that to give it even more depth. Found these wooden panels that I can actually just snap to the side of things. See, there's a ladder there. All these elements start to sell your build. Let's go around the back and just see what's going on around the back. We've got a shelf there and a couple of, obviously somebody's dumped some undesirable barrels around there as well. And I also put this side part in, this door here, because there was no access to this area before. And I added some boards on top of these. These are from the warehouse and barn tab, these roofs. And you can see, again, all kept it in as part of the area. This door was on that little shack where the workshop is. So lots of those little elements make a huge difference. Again, put these boards on, put a metal piece in there because the metal up there. And so always have a good look around and try and use materials from your environment. It will help to sell the overall look of the build. And we can have a wee look in here because I did do a wee bit of decoration. Not that it really kind of takes away from making a building look within the environment, but again, it works with the build because it's a cobbled together kind of furniture, and it's a scrappy kind of build. So there you go, some custom furniture in here. And yeah, I like it a lot. I like the build, I like the way that it comes out, and I think it really does fit in and around your environment. Even though Dogmeat's being a knob, we're going to ignore him for that. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the channel. I hope that's given you a few ideas. That's the whole reason I wanted to do this video, is just to try and give you some ideas to see if you can just expand the way that you're building and experiment a little bit more, and you never know where it will take you. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. See ya.